All right, let's go right to the phones. You're calling from a 509 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Left is best, MFers.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
This is Ronald Raygun.
Hello, Ronald Raygun. How are you?
Good. I wanted to talk about the RAISE Act. Have you seen this? Trump just announced with Tom Cotton and some other asshole that they're planning on, they have a proposed law. It's called the RAISE Act, R-A-I-S-E, which is designed to cut legal immigration in half. And Trump gave a little speech that he had to read. It was fun watching him try and read. But basically, they're saying that this is going to make it so we have a more skills-based immigration system. And what that means is essentially ending family immigration, family-based immigration, where you can, petition for family members to come here. And one of the things that they're saying is that, immigrants are coming and taking up public resources and money, but that's not the case. Whenever you bring a family member here, you file a petition for them to come to the United States to immigrate. You have to also file a literal contract with the government saying that if they ever need public means-tested benefits, that you will cover the cost of those things. And it's an enforceable contract. It is enforced by the government. And if the petitioner doesn't earn enough money, you have to go find a co-sponsor. So every family immigrant in the United States has somebody who's signed essentially a contract, and you have to prove your income as the sponsor. So if I don't earn very much money and I want to bring, my wife here or something like that, my wife, then I have to find somebody who does earn enough money, and the government is very exhaustive in what they ask for. You have to submit 3 years of tax returns and proof of your income.
That's more than a mortgage. That's more than a mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there's not a family-based immigrant in the United States who's not essentially subjected to those restrictions already. And in fact, the public charge ground of inadmissibility has been around for over 100 years. This isn't anything new. And it's also just not true that these people, typically are coming to take American jobs. I live in a really agricultural area, and people are sorting apples for 10 hours a day on a conveyor belt, or pruning or picking. And you can ask any farmer in the country, there's just not white people doing these jobs. They're not being stolen from people. And then, I know in other places they work in, the service industry and cleaning and cooking and doing other things like that. So and it also, to me, undermines what we've been hearing for a long time, which is that, I'm okay with legal immigration.
Right.
It's the illegal immigration I have a problem with. Well, no, they also don't like legal immigration. They're trying to slash it in half. And this is from the party of family values, right? That they can. Well, I don't even know.
You missed the first part.
Saying that anymore.
White family values. That's
right.
And you missed the part before that, which is wealthy white family value.
And it's look, this is all part of a piece, right? There is no, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we're hearing all of this, being dumped now. I think this is part of the pivot, the more efficient white nationalist administration that his voters were promised. And this is where it starts getting really, really difficult, I think, because you're going to start to have people like Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp, and in the case of tax reform, Donnelly, where it's going to be unclear as to whether or not the Democratic caucus is going to be able to stop stuff like this, right? This is a piece of legislation that theoretically would need 60 votes if they can maintain a filibuster, and so hopefully this will be a big test. It'll be a big test.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, family-based immigration is already broken. Like, if you're from Mexico and you petition for a sibling, it'll take 30 years for the visa to come current because the wait lines are so long. And so the idea that they would, there are people who've been waiting for a really long time for visas, and I don't know what they plan to do with those people. But yeah, it's crazy. I guess the main takeaway for you and the listeners would just be to try and have people educate themselves, because we're going to be engaged in these arguments again that, I've never engaged anybody on this issue on the other side of the issue who has any idea what they're talking about, but they're totally confident in what they're saying. And I guess that's true with most things these days, but it's especially true, I think, in this particular area. So anyhow, thanks for taking my call.
All right. Well, hey, whoa. I understand you were in the New Yorker magazine. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Do you want to just play that off? Like, what's the deal?
Well, it wasn't so much about me. I was quoted, they did a story about the mothers being detained and deported by Trump, and one of my clients was featured in that story. So we got her out of detention. She's got her case reopened. This is a woman who has a removal order from, I think, 1990 when she was 2 years old, and she never knew about it. And I think it was in February or March, ICE came and arrested her and put her in detention, and they were all set to deport her based on this thing that happened pre-memory. So anyhow, we got the case reopened, and I think she's on pretty solid ground now.
She sounds dangerous.
But she's super dangerous. That was the first case for me where I realized, things are definitely different, because under Obama, they might have come and talked to her and said, hey, look, you got to sort this out. But with her, she called me on a Sunday on my cell phone, and she was in custody, and they were deciding whether or not to detain her or not. And I said, tell the officers to call me. This is my cell phone. They can call me right now. I didn't know about the removal order either because it was so old, and how was I supposed to know about that if she didn't even know? And I said, have them call me. We'll work something out. And they detained her, and the very next day there was a big story in the paper that ICE had undergone a sweeping raid and arrested 85 or however many criminal aliens in the Portland area. And it was clear that they were reluctant to let her go because they were trying to pad their stats for this press release, which they, of course, sent out the next day. And so that's the kind of, crap that's going on, unfortunately. But yeah, there was a piece there, and I got quoted briefly. But good. It's a good story.
Well, Ronald Raygun, we're going to cut this piece and put it on YouTube so that people can pass it around, so that when this lie, and it's undoubtedly going to happen as they promote this RAISE Act, as people perpetuate this lie that somehow, family members are sucking the lifeblood out of us. People can pass this around, and we'll put that up on YouTube in the next day or so. Ronald Raygun, as always, thanks so much.
Take care.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos